Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Mosaic Dance Theater Company's presentation of Linked by Tradition. We're very excited to bring the show to you tonight. We're celebrating 3 glorious cultures and the dance that each culture celebrates. But we'd also like to acknowledge that here in northern New Jersey, we are on the ancestral lands of the Lenni Lenape of the Algonquin Nation. So after the show, just want to make sure that you stay with us because our 3 choreographers, Samara Adele of Mosaic Dance Theater Company, Antonia Messina of Viva Flamenco, New Jersey, and Rimley Roy of Sorati for Performing Arts will stay with us and we'll have an Auers talk back. So if you have any burning questions to ask them, please type them into the chat and we'll take it away from there. And now, Linked by Tradition. Mosaic Dance Theater Company's performance in Linked by Traditions is about transformations, and not just the obvious one in transforming a driveway into a stage. Initially planned for the weekend of March 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 2020, Linked by Tradition was officially canceled on March 12th, the same day that Broadway shut down. 4 days later, New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy closed the state. The coronavirus pandemic was no longer a what if. The reality of having our calendar wiped clean plunged us all into a state of disbelief. When the shock wore off, a period of mourning for all that was lost took hold. Hope springs eternal, so the saying begins, and the beauty of nature's transformation from the grays of winter into the rainbow of spring and summer bloomings sparked a transformation for us too. It was time to jump back in, to take stock, and to transform what was into what was to come. The marvels of Zoom technology enabled the creative team, Samara Adele, Mosaic's artistic director for dance and choreographer, Antonia Messina of Viva Flamenco, NJ, Rimley Roy of Sorati for Performing Arts, and myself as producing artistic director for Mosaic Dance Theater Company to meet digitally and figure out a plan to keep as much of what had been planned for the weekend of events in place. Unfortunately, our collaborator, Mount St. Dominic Academy of Caldwell, New Jersey, was no longer able to be a part of the production. Schools were closed, and without knowing what the fall would bring, a mutual decision was reached to continue planning without the opportunity to perform on the Mounts Performing Arts Center stage. Events were revisited, dates were rescheduled, and logistics of everything were discussed in great detail. With production schedule dates in hand, each of the 3 companies involved began to prepare. For Mosaic, rehearsals began on Zoom, but how would we present the piece when costumes are vital to the performance and all the costumes were in New Jersey? Fortunately, a driveway space offered a solution. But while the physical space, though small, was doable and socially distant dressing areas and technical setups were possible, what was the plan to keep everyone safe? Shortly after rehearsals began, Team Mosaic made a commitment to self-quarantine and shelter in place for 14 days prior to the recording session we planned for September 5th. The limitations created by our makeshift stage changes what you, the audience, will see. The 3-dimensional art of live dance is transformed into a 2-dimensional virtual format with a learning curve for us along the way. Not ideal for dance companies used to big stages and full theatrical lighting, and no advantages of working in a fully equipped television studio. In addition to viewing what we all have created with resources available to us during this pandemic, we want to show you what awaits us when we return to a safe world. To do that, each of the three companies in today's program has provided a short video from a previous theatrical production. Enjoy what is now, what was then, and let us all hope and pray for a speedy and safe return to a better world. I send my sincerest thanks to all the artists and technical wizards whose contributions, both on stage and off, enabled us to bring this project to its completion. And now, Mosaic Dance Theater Company is happy to give you Linked by Tradition, celebrating the dance of India, Spain, and the Near East.
لاقي ضربت لفيت على روح البخت مش لاقي
बाजे ढोल रुका सारे, खाके दूध बता सारे, आयो गोगी अबा सारे, देखो दीप तमाशा रे।
ओ रंगीले रंगीले पल है, चमकीले चमकीले पल है, बरसे झिलमिल करते लाखों तारे। अलबेले तन है, लचकीले लचकीले तन है, कोई अपना दिल कैसे न हारे।
ओ मैं दर मैं मन मैं जान मैं जगह होश भी मैं सब मैं अब
बाबोरे बाबोरे बाबोरे, बाबोरे बाबोरे बाबोरे,
ओ क्या गुण है क्या कहानी, सुन ले करके तू कमाल, सुन ले
बाबोरे बाबोरे बाबोरे।
Yo hablo con mi Dios y le digo, yo hablo con mi Dios y le digo, cuando me acuesto en mi cama, yo hablo con mi Dios y le digo que me parece mentira lo que tú haces conmigo. De mentira me parece lo que tú haces conmigo.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ और करमा बरसावो और करमा बरसावो नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ और करमा बरसावो नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ Tinta tinta derena, dina tinta tinta derena, tinta tinta derena, tinta tinta दरबारी के गुणी जन दरबारी के गुणी जन दरबारी के गुणी जन दरबारी के गुणी जन मिलकर खुश रंग संग मिलकर खुश रंग संग दाता के गुण गाओ दाता के गुण गाओ नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ और करमा बरसावो और करमा बरसावो नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ नजर करम परमाओ
هو الصندوق هو في العين سنة نظرة هو كان هو الصندوق هو في العين سنة نظرة سيب وعبر وفمك وزر سيب وعبر وفمك وزر خمري والورد ولا خمري والورد ولا أشتاق إليك وأنتظر يوما ألقاك يا قمر يا قمر أشتاق إليك وأنتظر يوما ألقاك يا قمر يا قمر ويضيع الليل وأنت حلم ويفيق الصبح شدا يا يضيع الليل وأنت حلم يفيق الصبح شدا يا يضيع الليل وأنت حلم يفيق الصبح شدا يا واكي أنا أهوى في العين أهواك أنا أهوى في العين يطيب وعمر وفم كوثر يطيب وعمر وفم كوثر خمري والورد ولا عطر خمري والورد ولا عطر عسنا واسير هواك أنا عسنا واسير هواك أنا والشوق طليق بزمنا والشوق طليق بزمنا والشوق طليق بزمنا والشوق طليق بزمنا جودي بوصالك يا قمر أشلو عمري أحلو السهر جودي بوصالك يا قمر أشلو عمري أحلو السهر أشلو أكثر نغما سكر أشلو أكثر نغما سكر وأضيع سنين ولا أعلم بسمع عينيك وكما أرق وأضيع سنين ولا أعلم بسمع عينيك وكما أرق أضيع سنين ولا أعلم بسمع عينيك وكما أرق أهواك أنا أهوى في العين أهواك أنا أهوى السنبق وأهوى في العين سنة الأزرق طيب وعمر وفم كوثر طيب وعمر وفم كوثر خمري والورد ولا عطر خمري والورد ولا عطر
बाजे पायल कहो छनन छनन बाजे पायल कहो छनन छनन बाजे पायल कहो छनन 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 तुम छनन 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 तुम छनन 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 तुम छनन 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 तुम छनन 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 दी तरी कीट तो नाच रहे गोरी ताम तिदाम ते तरी धूमनाभ तुम्हारी लीला क्या कहूँ मैं सावलो पदुमनाभ तुम्हारी लीला क्या कहूँ मैं सावलो ताप संकट हरनायो सो हमारो तुम करो ताप संकट हरनायो सो हमारो तुम खूब करो धरिम दिरना दरिरना निदानी धरिम दिरना के तरी की रगती तरी की डोम नाच रहे गोरी ताम की दाम तेरी तरे ताम की दाम तेरी तरे ताम की दाम तेरी तरे की रगती तरी
Y acá no le llaman caí, y que le llaman relicario, que acá no le llaman caí, que porque patrona tiene, que haya la Virgen, la de Rosario, que por patrona tiene que yo, que haya la Virgen, la de Rosario, que haya la tritirimundi, que yo te pago la entrada, que esa tu madre no
Dim da na 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 da na dere na dim da na na da na dere na dim da na da na dere dim. Tana dere tadari dani dim tana na tana dere tadari dani dim tana dere na tadari dani tana dere na tadari dani tana dere na tadari dani tana dere na dim tana na tana dere na dim tana na tana dere na Tadare dani dim dana na dana dere tadare dani dim dana na dana dere na dana de na de dim dana na na dana dere na dim dana na dana dere na
Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. En el cielo ya compás. Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. En el cielo ya compás. Se escucha cantes y baile que a todos hacen llorar. Se escucha cantes y baile que a todos hacen llorar. Con mi sevillana quiero traerle a la memoria de esta gente que ha muerto y han pasado la historia. ¡Ole! Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. En el cielo ya compás. Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. Se escucha un eco flamenco en el cielo ya compás. En el cielo ya compás. Se escucha cantar y baile que a todos hacen llorar. Se escucha cantar y baile que a todos hacen llorar. Con mi sevillana quiero traerle a la memoria, dame de a la memoria de esta gente que ha muerto y han pasado la historia.
Go ahead. Hello. So that's our Linked by Tradition. And joining me in a moment is Samara, as you can see her on screen, Rimley, and Tony. I think, well, here's Tony. So here we are. And I thought perhaps something that would be of interest to everybody who watched will be just to go around the room, and if each of you could, that would be of interest that you faced in, that we all faced in going from live on stage to live on computer. So Samara, why don't you begin?
Oh, hi. Okay, just unmuted. Hi, everybody. Yes, it was really challenging. I found it really hard rehearsing on Zoom. It's a much different, not having the dancers side by side. It's very hard to check lines, and also the challenges of the speed of Zoom. Sometimes it wasn't the same timing. So, you know, I know my dancers aren't off the music, so it was very hard to, it was just really hard to give notes, and we had to do a lot of extra work when we got together, because usually all the work is done in rehearsal. But basically in rehearsal, the dancers could memorize and rehearse themselves and get comments from me. But as far as spacing, which is so important, and just being next to each other and relating, that was all missing. And that was really, really hard. And I miss seeing my girls, but besides that, it's at least I can see them in little boxes.
Rimley, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I think this was a very challenging but enjoyable project. We had a lot of fun. We actually recorded a little bit of it, you know, in the summer, so that was easier for us to be able to do it then. And then, you know, over the time, there were some other artists also from Surati who performed. So we did this outdoors as much as possible. And then I think you did a great job of putting together the Juntos piece also. It looks really nice seeing all of us together in that. It was, of course, challenging because, you know, I'm not really the technical person, but I had to still work with our technical team to get, you know, all the pieces together and the editing and all of that done. But it was overall very enjoyable. I really enjoyed teaching. The workshops were great, you know, and, you know, the performances. Today is the first performance I still saw a glimpse of. I will probably watch it in entirety tomorrow when it airs again. But it's been great. I mean, it's been challenging, of course. We're learning along in the process, but I can only imagine that this is going to get better. And I think in a way that now that virtual concerts have become such an important part of our life, I think even when we do have live events, when things go back to normal, I think this element should be there so that people who are not able to come and watch a concert in person, it opens up avenues for them. I think it's a beautiful way of connecting with audiences around the world.
That's a good point.
And Tony, let us hear from you.
So I think I agree. I think this was a wonderful, at first I was a little skeptical, but then it worked out really well. And maybe flamenco fits in this easiest because usually it's in a small space like a tabla, which is a club in Spain. It's not as used to a big stage as some of the other dances anyway. But my biggest was just the neighbor coming in with their station wagon and 3 kids. But apart from that, it was pretty easy to set up. And I agree. I think it was great to see on a screen. I never knew I could appreciate dance so much not seeing it live. And all kinds of arts, I think, are going to become new to audiences on screen instead of live. So it could be a great new innovation. Thank you for doing it, Morgiana.
Well, we were, I think, delighted that the phoenix rose from the ashes because in March, I don't know if you remember that day, but we were all texting furiously back and forth, especially Samara and I. Should we? Shouldn't we? Should we? Shouldn't we? And then we just decided, well, okay, even if we had the show, which was supposed to be like March 19th and 20th, who would come? Because we were all petrified with the virus was just going crazy and it hadn't reached its peak in New Jersey. And I think we made the right decision. We kept ourselves and our performers and our audiences safe. And that was the most important thing. I would just like to give a little heads up to Mosaic's technical director, Bob Greenwald, who is behind the scenes. He's been operating everything and getting.
He does an incredible job.
He in the middle of the night to make sure that the video had rendered itself well, all these new terms. But to go back to Tony's comment about the car and the driveway, Bob was able to overlay or underlay a CD track of the music so that you heard really clear music. Otherwise, you would have heard a jet taking off from Newark Airport and then the neighbor's dog loudly barking. So those we were able to get out. But, you know, all sorts of little things that we can remember and be happy that we shared. So are there, I don't think that I'm just going to look off camera. Are there any questions from anyone who's with us on the talkback? Any questions that you would like to ask any of our artists here? You can just type them into the chat and then Bob will give me the high sign that he has a question and then we'll direct it to the artist. But in the meanwhile, if any of you have thoughts that you'd like to share with the other artists or with the audience, please just share.
I thought it was so interesting to see the comparison of the 3 styles. For the Middle Eastern seemed in some ways the loosest in use of the body, and then the flamenco seemed kind of next in terms of structure, and then the Indian seemed the most precise with just micro movements in your wrist, in your finger, and it was amazing. And the head, and how many years of study, you know, it really just impressed me. But you see the influence of each on the other and a kind of evolution with it. So that was fascinating.
Thank you so much.
I have a question for Rimley, and we had a pretty exhaustive discussion in our interview last week. But my question for you is Odissi dance an improvisational dance, or is it very strictly choreographed?
No, actually, traditional Odissi has traditional pieces that are choreographed by the masters. And then, of course, after you study to a certain level, then, you know, you can start choreographing your own pieces. And, you know, you create traditional music, traditional pieces. It's very structured, very precise, and all of that. But I use movements of Odissi in my innovative choreography. So I've used that. For example, like, you know, I've taken movements, all the movements that you saw, you know, mostly Odissi, what I did with the last piece, with the finale piece. So I used those beats to make them my own, make those steps or movements my own. Some of them maybe myself choreographed movements and pieces, but they're all based out of the basic, the wrist movements, the torso movements. All of that is very significant and very very original to Odissi dance.
And I noticed in one of the pieces I used castanets, and you guys used something with two ends that looked like castanets. What were those?
Which one are you talking about?
Samara. Not for you, Rimli, but you guys.
Moroccan spoons.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
the Moroccan dance. Yeah,
That was fun.
yeah.
And they're hard to find in the U.S. And as far as playing, I did a little research on them, and they're played most of the time in double time.
Right,
So
right.
it's a unique instrument.
The name is leaving my. Go ahead, Celeste. I know you remember that.
No, it's on the tip of my tongue too.
Today, my brain is like scrambled eggs. But
Karkabu.
what?
Karkabu.
Right, yeah.
Wow. And the other thing I noticed is how all these forms are so based in rhythms, like more than other kinds of dances. This is all about rhythms, whether it's your voice, like in the Indian dance, there's a lot of voice use of rhythm or some kind of percussive instrument, and in flamenco, the guitar and drums, the cajon and clapping. It's fabulous.
Yes, that is true.
Well, are there no questions coming in? So thank you all. Any last comment from our artist?
I think everyone wants to watch the new president-elect give his speech.
I'm dying.
Thank you all. If you want to see the show again, we're on tomorrow, 12 noon, and tomorrow, Sunday at 4 p.m. So thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great.